My dear friends, this is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I would very much like to continue on with the 31 days discussions of gangster films and cop films from the year 1970 to the present day. And that, I hope, will afford us, you and I, my dear friends, with the opportunity to talk about as many films as possible over the course of these 31 days in this crime film genre or genres, each of which I think too is can be subjected to or can be interpreted to contain even further subcategories or subgenres. And I think that's part of the fun of talking about films like this. Now, for purposes of today, and specifically for this video, I'd like to focus in on the gangster film crime genre or subgenre of that element. And for that, I have selected a film which has been described as being from 1972, and it is from Italy. And oftentimes with films, crime films from Italy around this time, these are often regarded under the term of, and please pardon me for my poor pronunciation of the Italian language, but oftentimes discussed or regarded with respect to the term poliziotteschi. And this is a term that is describing this wave of films that are Italian crime films, oftentimes dealing with police or gangsters or criminal element, vigilante violence sometimes. And speaking of violence, there are bursts of violence that are portrayed in a very heavy stylized way, also bursts of, say, sexual energy as well, and always in the context of this hyper-realized, sometimes with a great relish, over-the-top, almost sensationalistic type of approach to cinema. That also can be said to be linked to, say, socio-political and economic currents and tides of Italy during that particular time, 1960s and 1970s. And so there's a lot potentially going on with any work that is described as being of the poliziotteschi genre or subgenre. And this is one of them, I would suggest. And I know that I am not the only one who regards this film in that way. In fact, this film and this filmmaker has a it has a devoted audience and a devoted following, fans who adore this work and adore this filmmaker and for what it represents in terms of this filmmaker's filmography, as well as the film itself, because it is a startling, exciting, grand piece of entertainment filled with plot twists and stylized settings and great character set pieces that have this sense of the wonderful genre element traits of, say, crime, loyalty, betrayal, the mafia, sort of rogues' moral code, and relationships and passions and secrets and the like. So there's so much going on here. So I'm speaking about a work which, as I say, is described as being from 1972, and this has a great cast, included in which are Gastone Moschin and Mario Adorf and Barbara Boucher and others. And this is from the filmmaker Fernando Di Leo. And I'm referring to the work, and once again, I am very poor with my pronunciation of Italian, but the Italian title is Milano Calibro 9, or as it's oftentimes referred to in English, Caliber 9. Caliber 9 is one of those really cool and startling and quite twisty works from this particular era. and it is, I think, a prime example of the cinematic stylings of Fernando de Leo. And so it has this really great legacy, and it's very famous for that and for many reasons. And I think one of the reasons why it's famous is also because of how well structured this story is. And this is a story uh, about criminals, and specifically about the main character Piazza, who is the Gastone Moschin character. And he is essentially being suspected on all sides and all pockets of the communities that we meet, both on the law enforcement side and also on the criminal element side, the organized crime side, because of the fact that a large sum of money seems to have gone missing some time back, and now with Piazza, the main character, now returning after having been imprisoned, he is suspected of having stolen this large amount of money by all sides, and people suspect him. They want this money back because it is a large amount of money, and money talks, as it were, but he denies it. He denies having any involvement with or knowledge of where the money is, and therein lies the trajectory or the plot propulsion forward, because through this, we see him becoming acclimated or reacclimated back to quote-unquote normal society. But in this world of Fernando de Leo's poliziotteschi landscape, this quote-unquote normal society or normal scenarios are filled with set pieces that involve mobs and gangsters hunting down their victims, trying to find the location of the money, or trying to trace who it is that betrayed everyone, and trying to find the secret of this. Also, this means too trying to establish one's sort of sense of self in this world where the idea of a rogue's moral code also is very dependent or reliant upon a sense of sort of a tough a physicality that is linked to a toughness of mentality. And so this means too there are a lot of mental standoffs, as well as even physical standoffs, that occur between and among the characters. The characters, say, of Piazza or Rocco, for example. And therein too lies a great sense of antagonism that crackles with tension as we go from scenario to scenario to scenario. At the same time, we see the main character, the Gastone Moschin character, and his relationships kindled or rekindled, and that remind us too that he is a character that could be said to be a type of hero or anti-hero, whatever your interpretation is. But despite that, all the same, it is undeniable that he has a type of protagonist's anchored moral code, however roguish and however anti-hero that moral code might seem in the grand scheme of things. And I think that is due in large part to the physical presence and the cinematic screen quality of Gastone Moschin himself, who is just this rock solid legend that is emerging on the screen. And when he is on screen, it is almost impossible to take your eyes away from him, because he's that commanding. And it's wonderful too, because that assured, rock-solid, commanding presence of Gastone Moschin also might suggest something that is hidden beneath, which also leads to various potential wrinkles of plot and development going forward, thus creating more reason to become involved and excited on the part of the viewer watching this film, Caliber 9. So that's really exciting. So that's one aspect of that as we go from scenario to scenario. And that's helped along the way, as I say, by the great performance here. There's another scenario of this main character that we see, which is the personal and the passionate and the emotional, and that's where the Barbara Boucher character comes in. And here is another situation where we have this incredible screen presence on the part of Barbara Boucher and what she brings. And it's almost, there's some points where it's almost as though she brings so much to the film in terms of her screen presence that it's almost like the camera is itself so overwhelmed that it tilts on its axis, as it were. I mean, she has that type of screen presence and power, in a manner of speaking. And there is a type of on-screen sex appeal quality as well. And while that is going on too, there are aspects and levels to her character that make for, or potentially make for, some really grand, interesting plot developments and character arc developments along the way. And this has to do with her relationship with the Piazza character, as well as her relationship with others, and the fact that maybe having her character as an example in this world, whether she, as well as other characters here, can be considered to be wholly quote unquote innocent, or perhaps there's something of a multi-dimensional nuance and ambiguity to her character and that of others. And if that's the case, then my goodness, what a world that is being painted before our very eyes when we watch a film like Caliber 9 from Fernando de Leo. So this is a very exciting a set of characters indeed. And what I really appreciate too is there are moments of type of genre expectation. I mean, this is a film that is also about, say, thugs, and about amoral or immoral characters clashing, and when you have that type of situation of clash, oftentimes scenes of violence and gunplay and fighting erupt, and we get our fair share of those sorts of scenes here. And what we also get too is a type of pressure cooker situation, surprises, twists, also hidden secrets, hidden agendas, things maybe not necessarily being what they appear along the way, or perhaps they are and we just don't realize it. And all at the same time, given to us in this great sense of the Italian crime film stylings or aesthetic of the 1970s, which has this really palpable and has this real palpable and tangible type of gritty quality to it, an earthiness to it that I think makes for a real sense of a real rugged and dynamic work of entertainment that is thoroughly engaging. And it is a great example of this type of genre entertainment, while at the same time being a great staple and set piece for these performances, which, as I say, are very shining in their own specific ways. So Caliber 9, or Milano Caliber 9, is an exciting example of Fernando de Leo's work, and it's also an exciting example of de Leo's work in the context of the European or Italian crime film from the 1960s or 1970s, oftentimes referred to as poliziotteschi, and also it is a great example of these performers and actors during this time. Gastone Moschin, I've mentioned him before, but I'll say it again. He is electrifying. And I should say, too, that perhaps over the course of these 31 days, we might speak later about another film where the great Gastone Moschin appears, but we'll save that conversation for another day later in the 31 days. But suffice to say, for today, as for now, he gives here a stellar, dynamite performance, a central performance here that brings everything together, and that, as I say, holds with it a lot of twists and surprises that are thoroughly entertaining to the max. This is the work which is from Fernando de Leo, Milano Caliber 9, or as it is known in English here, Caliber 9. Okay, my dear friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very much appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.